take care of you.
You know, we're going to get this live together. Hold on. Okay, there she is. Bringing you online. She's still adding.
Girls here.
Yay! There you go. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Girl, I thought I was going to be able to be your way too, but it won't let me be great. So
Let me get this volume good, though. Let me hold on.
Okay.
Volume. I think that says. Oh, I just said.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we are going to jump in there because I don't want to take up too much of your time on this holiday weekend.
That's okay. I'm here.
So introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and how we are so excited to have you.
Well, my name is Chanel Scott, and I am the creator of Cheministry. And Cheministry is a relationship platform that was created to bridge the gap between purpose-driven men and women who desire to progressively move their love life to the next level.
Okay, progressively.
Because I'm a progressive person, you know.
I know that's right. We're going to push it on forward.
Push on forward.
So I see in here, and so I have your little handy dandy questions, you know, but again, this is very informal. So, you know, we're going to have this conversation. So it says that you are from Henderson, North Carolina, by way of Newark, New Jersey.
Yes. So I was born in Henderson, North Carolina, and I was raised in New Jersey and Henderson. My mother is from New Jersey. My dad is from North Carolina. And so I was one of those, they did co-parenting quite well. I was one of those unaccompanied minors that was going back and forth between New Jersey and North Carolina since I was 5. So I can't say one without the other because I spent equal amount of time in both places.
Got you. Very good. My son does that as well. So he spends half of his time here and the other half in Baltimore with his dad. I understand completely. So you dabble in the relationship stratosphere. And I know, girl, you know, I'm gonna talk about progressively for the rest of the weekend.
Okay.
And so tell us about the industry and Cheministry. I made that rhyme. So your industry and Cheministry.
Yes. So Cheministry is a relationship platform that I host about 4 times a year. We're evolving into, you know, some greater things, but up until this point, I've hosted it about 4 times a year. We started traveling this year. I'm trying to get this Instagram going too, but I had it going, but then, hold on one second. So I host it about 4 times a year, and what we do is we invite celebrity panelists or influential people in the community to talk about relationships. And I pick a topic that we can speak to kind of challenge the women and the men to get both perspectives. And it could get really tense.
Yeah, I remember I did host one for you. It was a ball. It was amazing. The guys were, it can get really...
It gets real tense, right?
Yeah. So who are some of the celebrity clients, and not even necessarily only celebrities, who are some of the panelists that you've had?
Oh, wow. We've had panelists from, Q Parker from 112, the R&B group 112. We've had Peter Thomas from Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've even had, in this last platform, we had Gary McFadden, who he's now the sheriff of Mecklenburg County in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was actually running at the time. He sat on the panel. So that was exciting. We've had Wally Rayner. He's retired NFL player. We've had all the likes of all the reality. I've probably touched every reality TV show that we have based here in Atlanta at some point or the other, whether it's Cutting It in ATL, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Married to Medicine, Janice Shelton. We've had, Beauty from Cutting It in ATL. We've had a tremendous amount of talent that sit on the platform, and we actually have one coming up June the 10th where we have an amazing panel set up there. We just booked Kiana Dancy. I haven't released that, but I can say it publicly now. We have Kiana Dancy. Yes, so we have her on the panel. We also have, let's see, we have Rod and Leticia Gardner. I haven't announced them yet. They'll be announced tomorrow, but you're the first. This is exclusive. This is the exclusive, right? I'm trying to get this Instagram right. Yeah, this is the exclusive. So we have Rod and Leticia Gardner. We have Kiana Dancy. We also have Latavia, founding member of Destiny's Child. We have Anthony Morrow. He's an NBA veteran. He actually is still playing in the NBA. Who else do we have? So I can go ahead and this is an exclusive. So Demetria McKinney, she was on the panel, and as you probably already know, she was on my flyer, but she won't be able to make it. However, we do have her endorsement. We have a video to release to the people to let them know, that she won't be able to make it. So I was a little sad about that, but it's okay. We'll get her the next time. Who else do we have? Who didn't I mention? I know it's somebody I done messed up on. Who is it? Who did I mess up on?
You got Josh Powell on here. Did you mention Josh?
I did not mention Josh. So Josh is another one who will not be able to make it. He got an opportunity in Puerto Rico. Those were the two that we had to replace. And so we have Kiana and we have Rod in just their, female and male panelists. But and then so that was Latavia. We have what's it? Oh, Cherie Turner. Oh my God, how could I forget my girl Cherie? Because I don't have the flyer in front of me. So we have Cherie as well on the panel, which I'm excited about.
Okay. Now, it says that Cheministry, let's talk about the name first. How did you come up with Cheministry?
Okay, the name or the platform?
Well, I'm going to get to the platform, but we're going to talk about the name first.
So Cheministry is actually chemistry. So it's the chemistry between a male and a female romantic relationship. So it was my cousin, Navanya Rose, who's an actress. She said, well, Chanel, if it's going to be chemistry, it has to be Cheministry. And, ministry means meeting the needs of the people. So at my events, typically what we do is we have open and honest, transparent dialogue about relationships. And what my hope is while we're having this intense conversation, that you're actually listening through your own personal experience and you're gleaning principles about how to have healthy relationship, what not to do, what to do. You may get a different perspective on things. Sometimes we just have a one-track mind and, may not have, been able to identify with the other person's perspective. But then once you come to Cheministry, you leave with a renewed mind and a changed perspective is my hope.
Okay. Progressing once we leave this place. Like, I want you to not leave here the same as you came.
So we start with the issue, and then we kind of work through it, and plow through it with the various conversations, comments, debates, questions. And then by the end of the conversation, my hope is that we've gotten to some level of resolution. It's all about communication, because I think that's the number one key component that helps us maintain healthy relationships. Something that we don't like to do nowadays is communicate.
Absolutely. Now, you put this in italics, and I appreciate it because you said finding out a person's intent early on.
Yes, because let me tell y'all something. So a lot of people, they see Cheministry and they see the relationship platform and they see the celebrity around it, but what they don't know is that Cheministry was inspired by my own personal experiences and my inability to have healthy relationships. It's no secret, I'm 44, never been married, and no children. And I'm not going to blame the men for all of it, but just not taking out the time to really find out one's intent before progressing to the next level. And that's mainly because we didn't communicate. And I'll be open and honest, because that's why I have this platform, is that, I still make those mistakes today. And it's just like, gosh, like, but you don't want to receive it. You just kind of do your own thing. But I can tell you this, if you continue to do the same thing and expect different results, what is that called? Insanity. Insanity. So y'all, I'm saying we all learning together. I mean, really it was derived from just my inability to have healthy relationship. And then too, I was celibate for 8 years from the age of 33 until 41. And so just getting back into the dating, you know, the whole dating thing, the dating scene, I had questions, and it started out as just a conversation, and then the conversation kind of took off because I'm not the only one who wants to have it. Obviously, you know, people, it was catchy, you know, people was like, oh, I want to be a part. I need to be there. I need to talk about this. Because we all have some level, you know, we all go through something, and you want to be able to have an open platform or environment, I should say, where you can kind of discuss those issues and not be judged. You know, that's the one moment that there is no judgment. We're here to kind of plow through it and talk through it, really, you know, because sometimes we do lose our mind when we're in certain scenarios, and sometimes we need an environment where people can bring us back to ourselves, you know, and so that's what Cheministry is for.
Girl, you are being an anomaly right now, because for the men who may watch this now or the men who will watch it later, for you to acknowledge your own issues with having healthy relationships, you know, all these men be like, oh, women never accept their part in it. Women never say what they can do. And, you know, and here you are on this platform and created a platform surrounding the fact that you were able to accept what you had going on internally.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard truth to say, you know, I have to be responsible for my part, man. I mean, even like as I'm even talking to you, I'm thinking about a scenario that I was just a part of, you know, and I couldn't even blame this guy. He was so nice guy. But, you know, I chose to turn a deaf ear to the words that was coming out his mouth, you know, and so as a result, you know, I experienced some level of disappointment. So, you know, I look at it now on the backside of it, and I'm saying, you know what, Chanel, you heard it. You just chose not to listen. So the only person you really have to blame is yourself.
You better talk it.
Yes, I mean, it's the truth, because us as women, sometimes we don't want to acknowledge that, but I have to acknowledge it. I have to be responsible. And then not only that, because I have this platform, and because I have people that follow me, and because I have people that respect my opinion and perspective, I have to operate in integrity, and I have to check myself first, you know, because the only person I can change at the end of the day is Chanel. I can't change anybody else.
Did y'all hear that? Operate in integrity. You better take that away from this whole thing.
Right. You know, to much is given, much is required. I'm held to a greater standard. Even if human people, or, you know, people don't say, hey, Chanel, you know, I operate under a different covering. You know, I have to answer to a higher power, you know, so it's like, okay, it is what it is.
So I have, you know, but I want to branch off a little bit. I'm not sure if you saw, I did a video maybe about 2 weeks ago, because having conversations with my girlfriends or with my peers, a lot of what the problem appears to be is that men are still stuck in we have to lie to kick it. So, you know, I did a whole video about why men feel like they can't be honest with us, or that they can't share what their true intention is.
Right.
And for me, I feel like, or I questioned, even for my girlfriends and for myself, you know, I'm married now, but are we giving off something to men that makes it seem as if we aren't able to handle the truth? Are we giving off an energy that says, you know, if you tell me you only want sex, or if you tell me you aren't looking for anything, that we can't accept that? What do you think about that? Why do you feel men lie?
I hear a lot of men say that we as women cannot accept the truth. But you know what? That's not your responsibility, men, that we accept or deny the truth. It's your responsibility to tell the truth. And what we do with it is up to us, right? Because if you told us, that's all you can do. You can't change somebody else. The only person you can control is yourself, you know. And yes, we don't know what to do with the truth at times. I'm guilty of it. I always use myself as the example, because we hear what we want to hear, or we have this notion that we can change somebody. You know, if they say, well, unless they're kind of like giving you mixed signals, then it's kind of hard to kind of tell, because you know that you have to progressively move to the next level. So it's a process. So in that, as long as y'all have an open line of communication and you ensure that each person, each party is on the same page, then you should be okay. But unless you're getting those mixed signals, then you need to hear what's coming out of his mouth, period. I mean, I was telling somebody today, you know, dating is hard, and that's saying people, you know, people say, well, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be, in this particular instance, it is 9 times out of 10, literally, because it can only be one person. So just think about me being a 44-year-old woman and having dated quite a lot. It's still that 9, I haven't got to the 10. It's still 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna work out. But you have to be accountable, and you have to be responsible for your own actions so that you can alleviate that 9. You can be like, hey, you know, I waited until I got to 10. I didn't even engage this person because I knew off the gate that he, you know, we didn't have the same interests. You know, we didn't want the same things. But when we try to change a man or try to make him do what we want him to do, you're going to always end in disappointment.
Now, you know, I cracked up when I read this question. My question, just listen, y'all, my question was, is this what you wanted to be when you grew up? Her answer was, single? Absolutely not.
Bingo. That's right. That's right. I did not want to be single when I grew up. You know, I look at it, this ministry is a blessing and a curse for me, because on the one hand, I am fruitful. People love it. People support it. People engage it. But then on the other hand, what drives my passion is my singleness and my inability to be in healthy relationship. Because I can't honestly say to you that I would be doing this if I was in a relationship. I would have no desire. It would be, why am I doing it? I would have no desire to do this if I was in a relationship.
Wow. That's deep right there. Like, that is very, very, I commend you for that. That is very deep. I'm serious. Like,
it's hard. It's so hard, because I'm like, Lord, do you know what I'm going through? You know, do you know what I'm experiencing? And not just being a single woman, because I could deal with that if, okay, I just haven't met the right man. But I could just break out in tears right now, because it's not just that. It's going through failed scenario after failed scenario and being able to come and inspire a conversation, not because I thought it was a good thing to talk about, but because it was a personal experience of mine. Like, I had to literally go through the hurt and go through the disappointment to even bring it to you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it wouldn't be authentic if I didn't go through it and then brought it to the next person. It would be like, oh, you could feel it when it's not authentic. You don't even want to listen to somebody who ain't going through what you're going through. You know, you get people in church who, you know, especially women who are married, who have husbands, and they try to tell you how to live single. You can't identify with my struggle. You can't. It's rough out here. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse to have ministry. I just pray that, God, there is another side to this. I pray that, yes, I can speak from the single woman's perspective, but I pray one day I can speak from the married woman's perspective too, because that's relevant. And I always try to have a couple on each panel I have, because we need both perspectives. Ministry is not just for a single person, it's for single and married people. One of the things, I could go ahead and tell you this too about the next platform that I didn't openly kind of put out there, was the topic is called Relationship Success, how to balance individuality with together, or how to balance individuality with togetherness. But the subtopic is the lethality of loneliness. So basically what I'm dealing with is loneliness in and out of a relationship. You can be lonely and be in a full-fledged marriage, period. Yeah. You could be lonely and be in a relationship, but then there is another side to it, that you can be lonely as a single woman. You know, I was listening to a good friend of mine the other day. He was telling my story, and I had the privilege of hearing him share my story with someone. And the question was asked to him, well, is she depressed, or is she, because they wanting to gather information about me for a project, an upcoming project. So their question was, is she depressed, or, you know, or does she struggle with depression? And he was like, no, she's lonely sometimes. And he equated loneliness with depression. I was like, dude, that has no, you know,
like,
but maybe, I don't know, but he grouped it together, you know, and I had to think about that, like, damn, because yeah, loneliness, it get hard. It's a struggle, you know what I'm saying? When he said it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. So the lethality of loneliness will make you do some crazy stuff. Loneliness will make you act out in ways that will blow you. Loneliness will have you somewhere that you don't want to be. I'll just leave it right there.
Right. Now, I know you said it's a gift and a curse with the Cheministry. Have you, because of this platform, do you see or feel that guys may try to date you or reach out to you strictly because of this platform? Not that they are, for lack of better words, really trying to commit, but they just want to date you just to see if they can, maybe. Like,
I'm moving into that realm where I have to check people's motives. It's wild, you know? Because as a female, like, especially when I was younger, you know, you date the athletes. I'm 6'1" for those of you who don't know me. So I like athletes. I like ball players, you know? And so now I'm like, damn, like, you gotta check to see if these people got the right intentions. I just had a scenario like that where I met a gentleman. He was beautiful. But when he opened up his mouth, I couldn't deal with him. But it was clear that we didn't have chemistry. It was clear. Even though he was beautiful, I was trying, but we just didn't have that connection. Now, typically, any other man that I know in all of my 20-some-odd years of dating would have been like, you know what, it's not working out. And they would have been moving on. This dude was like, why are you tripping? Who says that we don't have to argue every day? Who says? I'm like, are you serious? We just met and we argue every day. Like, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So you got to question, what's his motivation? Like, most guys would have been out, but he saw something of value that he wanted to hold on to. And it wasn't Chanel. It was what he thought Chanel could do for him. So yes, I'm just now getting into, you know, moving into that realm of questioning, you know, okay, what do you really want? Are you interested in me, or are you interested in what I do? Or, you know, what's your deal for real?
Okay. Now this may be a little personal, and it's a kind of a piggyback. And if you want to skip, we can. But I know that you mentioned your years of celibacy. Was it someone who you thought you were moving into marriage that made you break that, or, you know, was it you just got tired of it? Like, do you want to discuss that? Or
yeah, it's okay. I'm an open book. No, it was someone that I thought I was moving into marriage. Actually, what drove me into celibacy was that I believed that a gentleman was my husband, and he was not. It was an erroneous belief, and I can admit to that. But after 8 years and being 41 years old, I didn't want my narrative at 50 to be what it was at 40. So it wasn't that I met someone. I just didn't want to fall under the guise of celibacy. It wasn't that I was having sex, but it was just that, okay, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. If I find myself in a position where I want to have sex, then I'm going to do that. I'm not going to limit myself to, okay, well, I'm not going to have sex until marriage. And I know that that goes against everything that I believe, because I believe the whole Bible, don't get me wrong. So, but I said, you know, I'm going to take this a step, because this is my life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we apply truth, and, you know, you have these erroneous beliefs. But for me, I did not want to spend the rest of my life like regretting the decisions that I made, because I'm going to be honest with you. I learned a lot about who I was. I learned a lot about my purpose during those 8 years, but I was not happy. And I'm not claiming, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't happy, and my happiness is not tied to being in a relationship, but that was just one aspect of my life that was missing. And so I said, you know, instead of saying I'm going to be celibate, what I'm going to try to do, and I have failed at certain points, so I don't have it all together, is make better decisions. You know, if I'm going to get out there and I'm going to date, I'm going to be more discerning. I'm going to make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be more selective. I'm not going to just take somebody for face value, but I want to know about the content of your character. You know what I'm saying? I to take the time to get to know you. And if I feel like we're progressing in that direction, then if we decide we want to take it to the next level, we can. You know, I don't want to just shut it off. So
that's wonderful. So
that's a topic to debate. But I just like, so I always I tread lightly when I talk about that, because that's for Chanel. That may not be for the next person. Because you might say, well, you know what? The word says that you should not have sex before marriage. Period. That's it. And I believe that. But I'm saying for me. You see what I'm saying? So it's only one person gotta live this life, and that's me. So, and I have to say this too, like, not because I don't want to make it look like I'm boasting, because y'all, I have since made some horrible decisions. Even since making that decision to come out of celibacy, I have made some bad decisions. Even with the knowledge, I have still, out of impatience, out of rushing, out of not taking my time, out of being afraid, because I'm 44 years old and I don't have any children, and I at least want to have the experience of having one, if not, you know what I'm saying, more. I'm not too big on having more, but I at least want to have the one experience where, you know, I can say, well, I birthed the child. I want to be able to look in a child's face and see Chanel. You know, God has blessed me with one niece of mine. My brother has a daughter, and oh my gosh, she looks like my twin. It's like, it looked like me and her mother had her rather than her. I'm like, oh my God, girl, I'm looking in my face. Like, everything about you is me.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that's what God was up to when he gave me her as a niece, but I want to have that experience. So I still mess up. I do.
And that's
I
very
deal with it differently. I deal with it differently than I did, because the thing about community too that I would want to leave with people is that it's so important to know what your purpose is. When you know what your purpose is in life, you're still going to get your heart broke. You still going to get disappointed, but it doesn't hurt as bad. Because you're like, well, you know what? I'm good anyway. You know, I'm operating in purpose over here. I'm doing what God called me to do. Yes, my feelings is hurt. Yes, my heart is broken, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Because I know why I'm here. You're not my end all be all. My whole life ain't centered around you. I know that I'll meet somebody else better. That's something. If I don't know nothing else, I know that I will meet someone else better. So it's okay if it doesn't work out. It's gonna hurt. Don't get it wrong. It's going to hurt, but you can operate. You can function a little bit better.
And that's a great segue into the next question, which was, what would you tell persons that are looking to follow in your footsteps?
Wow, wait a minute. Let's clarify. Following my footsteps now.
Oh, well, let me rephrase it. So, you know, people who are coming after you, who, you know, may be looking to build a dating platform, or just who may be dealing with dating in general and having a hard time with it, you know, like, what would you tell them? Because I know, and just, you know, for some kind of emphasis around it, your answer on the page was to find your passion and to be consistent. So that was what you typed. So I don't want to make it seem like everything else that we talked about.
Right. And so that goes back to finding your purpose. You know, when you're having issues, it goes back to being consistent in that and doing that. I'm a firm believer, even though it has not happened for me yet, that as you are doing your purpose and doing what God has called you to do, you'll connect with the right person. I believe that. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that. You know, sometimes, like I said, for me, I'm 44. That 44 thing is bothering me, because I never had a lot of insecurities, maybe a few, but that's becoming one. Just, you know, as I approach my mid 40s, you know, and then attracting men that are younger than because I attract men that are younger, you know, and then when they find out my age, I'm not saying that someone has said this to me, but I feel like it's a turnoff. That's what I feel. So, and I'm not saying that it's valid or even accurate, you know, but it's an insecurity, but just like focusing on what you're called to do, focus on your purpose, focus on yourself, focus on self-love, focus on you. And when you focus on you, you can kind of disconnect from the foolishness. You know, I have a different way of coping with things now. And I just love the fact that God is so instrumental in my life, because he knows what we're going through. So he put like, he's like, well, Chanel, just thrust yourself into what I called you to do. If you was focused on what I called you to do, you wouldn't even be bothered with this in the first place. And so he's given me this amazing platform, you know, amazing people that follow, and I'm just doing that. And prayerfully, I'll connect with the right person in the right time.
You will. You will. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
So, have you done everything that you wanted to do outside of? I know you want to have a child, and you want to find, the one out of the 9 out of 10. But just the overall with your life, have you done everything that you want to do, both professionally and personally?
Oh, no way. I just got started. Right now, I mean, I would love to be able to take a ministry across the globe. Like, we've gone to North Carolina and we're here in Atlanta, but we're just scratching the surface. I think this is a conversation that needs to be had nationwide because people are struggling. People don't have environments where they can be open and not be judged. People kill me when you go through a relationship situation. People always got something to say about what you shouldn't do or what you should do, or they're like, oh, leave that person alone. And it's not that easy.
Right.
If it was that easy, then none of us would have a broken heart. We're just
right.
like, okay, I ain't messing with you no more. You ain't treat me right, but we have insecurities. We have things that we struggle with. I've been very transparent about mine. The age thing is I can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like it gives a platform for us to talk about all of those different things. And it all ties into relationship and being healthy and, and being in a place where you can actually sustain it and nurture it the way you need to. So I would love to just have like a nationwide tour. Like I want it to be to the extent that people are anticipating us coming on an annual basis, something like the Essence Fest, in Louisiana, they anticipate them coming. Because another element of what we have in ministry is the performances. And so, as we grow, we get great performers, people who get to showcase their talent. That's something else that I would love to kind of move, a little bit more into that arena of getting talent. People that people are familiar with and they want to hear, and they'll come and say, okay, I know such and such is going to perform there, and then they're going to have this awesome conversation, and I just can't wait for the experience. So that's what I would love to do.
I think that's very doable, honestly. I mean, I love the platform in which you have, and like you said, the surface is just scratched. So you definitely have an opportunity to take it on a tour. So you have a relationship cruise that you're planning.
Yes. Oh my God. So we just picked a date, and I think the tentative date is November 1st, and it's to the Bahamas, and it's a relationship cruise. And right now, and it's going to be in November. Yeah, November. I said November 1st is the tentative date. And right now, we're actually in the process of, I just want to partner with one other relationship guru expert, preferably a male that can, do this with me. One of the notables out there that can really do this with me, and we create like a list of activities, things that we could do with people, and have conversation, play games, do different things that's centered around relationship. So
I think that's fine. I think that'd be that. I've never been on a cruise before. Water and I don't get along too well like that. Like I like to swim and everything, but I just think that's way too much water for me.
Right. I know. I've done one. It was. I had to take a little motion sickness medicine, but
yeah, I don't know. So what is it in the relationship arena and dating and everything? What is taboo in that industry for you? Is there anything that you feel is taboo?
Yes. So let me just preference this statement by saying this. I am not a relationship expert. People try to tag me as a relationship expert. I am not that. I have failed relationships after failed relationships. So now I am an expert in how to work through relationship issues. I can tell you, you want to know, Chanel, what do you do in this situation? Oh, I'm an expert in that. I can help you there. So I'm not that. But one of the taboos is you only have one chance at love. And when I say that, meaning that because I operate in that realm, I have to ensure that I'm operating in integrity at all times, which makes me a target. I can't mess up. I can't be on Front Street acting like a fool. You see what I'm saying? You can't be hot-headed and temperamental. And another thing, you can't go out in public with just anybody. You got to make sure that this person has some potential, some value. You guys have had conversation after conversation, and we have decided that we're going to try to take this thing to the next level. It can't be some casual dating situation where I got him on my arm at Cheministry and I'm introducing him to everybody. This Mr. Cheministry, y'all. And then by the next event, it's another dude. I can't do that. So it limits you in that way, you know. And maybe I have placed that on that expectation on myself, but I like I said, I believe in operating in integrity. So it's important that you make good choices, or at least if you're gonna date, you know, you have to do it with some level of discretion until you two decide that, okay, you know. And then that's another thing I have to tell. Like, one of the things that I found myself telling men, because, you know, here in Atlanta, these men like to date multiple women at one time, right? And so I have to tell people, listen now, if you're gonna date me, you can't be all out in the street with another woman. You can't do that, because you put me in an awkward position. I'm human. I have human emotions. I don't care how I have Cheministry. I have human emotions, and I'm gonna feel some type of way. You know, so like, if you don't think you can handle that, then maybe I'm not the right one for you. You know, I impose that on them because, and then I have my own like expectation. I don't want to be with a man. I don't want to be with someone or dating someone where another female can be like, well, oh, I date the same person Chanel the creator of Cheministry date. Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, you don't. So that's another concern of mine. I might be considered selfish in that way, but I don't want to date someone that someone else is dating. Not with everything that I have going on. It's just too much, you know.
Yeah, that's
and it can ruin what I've built in seconds. You know, the right situation. You know, all it takes is the right situation. You know, I mean, I might not be the crazy one. That person might be the crazy one. You know what I'm saying? So you can't control the other person.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, we say that all the time. That's in so many different scenarios in life, though. Even when you speak about driving a car, you have to worry about the other person driving. It's not about your driving all the time. They can do something, like you said, to mess up. So you do have to pay attention to that.
Right. In this day and age with social media, so, you know, you never know. Somebody put your picture out there, something crazy. I just don't have time for it. I just ain't got time for it.
So what's one myth about your industry that you would like to set straight?
Say that one more time. One myth?
What's one myth about your industry that you would like to set straight?
God, one myth. What did I say?
I love your answer, though. I was hoping you would have remembered it. But you said that nobody's perfect.
Huh?
You said nobody's perfect.
I mean, I got you. The whole thing, everything that I've been saying in this whole interview is that we're not perfect. We do make mistakes. Just because you operate in the realm of relationship does not mean you have it all together. There is some life event that has inspired that person to do what they're doing. It's not because they have it all together more times than none. Because when you have it all together, you don't really focus on that. You're like, I got this. I'm not going to spend no extra time over here because I got it. But purpose is all about finding a problem to solve. Like, there's a problem and you were put here to solve it. So a lot of times when you operate in purpose, it's because you saw something wrong with that particular area, and now you have the solution to fix the problem. And so for me, I saw something wrong within me. And so I made an attempt to fix it. And in the process of me making the attempt to fix it, I felt like others could benefit from what I had to offer.
That is so, you know, I so appreciate you. You are so real, so humble, so honest. Like, I love it. I hope that so many men watch this and understand that, you know, we're not just all out here placing blame in their laps, you know. And even if it feels like you're being blamed, understand that it's coming from a place of, we understand what we have going on, so now we want you to understand what you're doing to us, and what you have going on.
Right, absolutely. And for the men, guys, if you can just learn to listen, because sometimes men can be so, and this is nothing against, like, I don't want you guys to take this personal, but sometimes men can be so dismissive. Like, they're different than we are. They're made different. So once they're finished, they're finished. There is no conversation. There is nothing. But sometimes if you take out the time to have a conversation allow that person to express and articulate how they feel, and you get to express and articulate how you feel, then you don't have to leave in pieces, but you can leave in peace. You can have a peace of mind, you can have closure, and you don't have to be struggling with all those things that, you know, the enemy put all kinds of crazy stuff in our heads. We thinking, oh, you know, they don't like us because they don't like my hair. Or for me, oh, he don't like me because I'm 44. But if we have a conversation, then we can really get to, okay, this is why we were not compatible. And then you can move, I can live with that, you know? So.
That is so awesome. I love it. So in closing, your final thoughts, anything you want to leave with anybody, anything about our watchers that you want to leave them with?
Man, I just say, like, stay prayed up, stay encouraged. If anybody's out there struggling with relationship issues, you're not by yourself. Support my event, June the 10th. Cheministry will be right here in Atlanta at Punch Bowl Social at the Battery, the Brave Stadium. The event starts at 4. You can purchase tickets on cheministry.eventbrite. So just go to Eventbrite and search Cheministry. Get your tickets today.
And that is CHEMINISTRY, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Now the Punch Bowl, that you said is over in the new Battery Park area.
So the Punch Bowl Social is a new gaming restaurant. A lot of people in Atlanta don't know about it yet because they haven't done any hardcore marketing, which I don't understand why. But it's like a gaming restaurant. So we have like the first level. We have cornhole down. They have bowling lanes in there. They have pool tables. They have karaoke rooms. They got a lot of different like adult games. So this Cheministry is going to be a little bit different than any of the platforms that I've done here in Atlanta, in that it's going to be a little less formal. So you could come in your casual gear. You don't got to get all dressed up. I might be a little cute, but it ain't going to be like how I normally do. You know, I'm going to be relaxed but cute. You know, so you ain't got to, you know, do it all up unless you just want to.
Okay. Okay. I like it. So tell everybody where to follow you at, how to find you on social media.
Okay. Well, guys, you can find me at Chanel Nicole Scott, and that's CHANEL, just like the perfume, Nicole Scott, on Instagram and on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Chanel N Scott, and you can also find information about Cheministry at Cheministry Promo on all of the social media outlets. And that's CHEMINISTRY, Cheministry, a relationship platform.
Chanel, thank you so much. This has been awesome, girl. I'm gonna have you back again. We're gonna have to just do another, you know, just relationship type thing. Maybe we'll get some people to send some questions in and we'll do it that way.
Look, I can do this all day long. It's healing for me. I don't know about for anybody else, but it's healing for me to be able to talk about it, especially when you are I'm going through something right now. Transparency. So it's healing to be able to have open conversation like we do at Cheministry and just talk. You know, you ain't got to be all explicit with the details, but you know what you're doing. You know, and get some healing. And sometimes it just helps to get stuff off your chest, you know?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored to have had you. And all of this, everybody, will be posted on the Diary of a PR Diva website. It's going to be on social media, and it's going to be on the IPY Agency YouTube page. So y'all check us out. I'm going to promote this heavily along with Cheministry because Chanel has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.